Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. For everybody who's like, hey man, I don't like the clap. Listen here. If you got 4 seconds of your life that's uncomfortable, hey, suck it up. Okay? I don't swear on this channel, but you're a pussy. Okay? Stop being a pussy. All right, let's get right into it. We got Joe Rogan talking about censorship. And when we're talking about censorship, we have to focus on Kamala Harris right off the bat. She recently said something, and this is what Joe's going to be focusing on. Well, something's resurfaced that she said about shutting down X possibly, and Elon Musk and Twitter having to follow the same rules that Facebook has had to follow, and various other platforms, perhaps even a video streaming maybe, I don't know, but a bunch of other platforms are obviously following everything that the Biden-Harris administration has put together in regards to censoring certain voices, and neither here nor there. Don't worry about what my finger was doing. Don't worry about all that. But we're going to get right into it. I have a whole bunch of clips to show you after this clip of Joe Rogan talking. Let's start off right here.
And the power that it would really give them. It's like, oh, this isn't about really just banning TikTok.
What did Kamala Harris say recently about Elon Musk and Twitter having to follow the same rules as Facebook?
Yeah, what did she say? I don't know. I didn't hear it. What did she say? It was
something about how Elon's going to have to follow the same rules
like says
as Facebook.
Who? That's so
First of all,
what rules? Yeah.
Hey, and also, didn't Mark Zuckerberg just come out with a statement saying that he regretted giving in to the government's request to take down COVID-19 information?
Yeah.
And then
the
Hunter Biden laptop
store.
He just came out with it was a big statement.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of people, they were really furious about it. Claim. A video clip portrays Harris saying that she will shut down X. I don't think she said she would shut it down. If she wins the 2024 presidential election and Musk has lost his privileges, the fact that's false. Harris was referring to Trump long before Musk and Twitter rebranded it as X. So is that what she was saying from that video? So was the video her saying that why should Twitter be allowed to have Trump on if Facebook can't have him on? Is that what it is?
When I'm looking for the video, all I'm seeing is like within the last 24 hours, posts a claim is false.
Right, but that is not what we were talking about, though. We were talking about something slightly different. Let me see if I can find it for you.
Does she want to shut down X?
No. I'm not saying that she said she would shut it down. What I'm saying is that she was saying that why should Twitter not have to follow the same rules that are being followed by Facebook?
Right, what I typed in was Kamala Harris Twitter rules, so that's the videos that were popping up. And
here, I'm sending it to you right now, Jamie. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, so I need to know what she's referring to here, but listen to this statement.
Yeah, I think this is from that.
Go ahead and play it. Let's see what it says.
Hold on.
So she's probably talking about Trump being on Twitter. Is that what it is?
So she was talking to Jake Tapper, so we'll see
right.
If that's what this is.
That you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation, and that has to stop.
Okay, right away.
Yeah.
There's no way to misconstrue that.
What does that mean?
Oversight and regulation for free speech is ridiculous.
Yeah, totally.
Just that alone, there's no way to misconstrue that, right? Mm-hmm. What she was saying is what I was thinking she was saying. She was saying she wants government oversight and regulation for social media. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
It's crazy for anyone to want it, because if the only reason you want it, right, is because you agree with the ideological bent of the platform, wait until someone else is in charge of it, or wait until there's a different government in charge.
It's also saying that the very thing that Mark Zuckerberg regrets should be happening. Mm-hmm. She's essentially saying, why should they have different rules for Facebook than they do for Twitter? Mm-hmm. What rules?
What rules?
We don't have rules. We have First Amendment rights of free speech.
I think it actually is even crazy that he's admitting that, Well, I mean, good for him, absolutely.
Well, Trump said something pretty scary for him. He said that if he finds out that he interfered with the election, he's going to be in jail for the rest of his life.
That's pretty scary.
That's pretty scary, because it's very likely that he might wind up being the president. And if he winds up being the president and they start investigating this stuff, if I was Mark Zuckerberg, I'd be pretty freaked out by that statement, because it is election interference. For sure, whoever was running Twitter who gave in to the FBI's request to take down the Hunter Biden laptop story, they definitely interfered with the way people voted. Because
Yeah.
if people found out that that laptop was legitimate and all that stuff was true, there's a certain percentage, I don't know what the number is, but there's a certain percentage of people that were maybe on the fence, and that could have influenced their vote one way or another. And it could have given Trump fuel because he could have been talking about it. See, I told you that this was real, and they've been lying. And it would also prove that Biden lied during the debates.
I don't understand how anybody didn't think it was real, though, because Hunter never even denied. Like, he was when all those people signed that letter, all those intelligence
51
people,
former intelligence agents.
51 signed it. Guess who didn't sign it? Hunter Biden. Right? That's what I thought from the. I was like, okay, if that was me, and someone was saying there was a laptop going around of me, you know, doing all this. Banging all these people on camera and smoking all these drugs, I'd be like, that. I would be like, that was not me. I would be like, you know, that'd be pretty important for me to come out and say that.
If it happened today, you could claim it was AI.
Yeah.
Easy.
Well,
Easy.
that's out there with everybody, me included, sadly.
Forever.
Yeah,
and not only that, it's going to change and get way more complex.
And there's nothing you can do about it because you knock it down.
That.
It's like whack-a-mole. It's like then there's another one, then there's another one.
There's
then
nothing you can do about that. But that, you know, with all this stuff, this talk, like that, whatever she was saying right there is not what you want to hear from somebody.
No.
You don't want to hear they're going to censor social media.
They were talking specifically about Senator Warren talking about banning President Trump's account, and that was her response to it.
Yeah, but she was also talking about oversight. She talked about oversight very specifically and clearly.
Yeah, it has the quote right here.
Yeah.
And what's the rule that she's talking about?
The same rule should apply, which is there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation, and that has to stop. That's all you need to hear. Like that right there is not something you want to hear from someone who respects the First Amendment. That's not how it's supposed to be.
Also, who's they?
Right.
It's just a collection of people.
Not only that, if you're talking about oversight and regulation, are you talking about the exact same people that were trying to get Twitter and successfully did get Twitter to take down the Hunter Biden laptop story and make it impossible to share that video, saying that it was misinformation when it was not? And if you don't do anything to correct and to hold people responsible that pushed out that misinformation and no one's punished for it and there's no retribution, there's no repercussions at all.
Right.
Like, what are you saying then? Then what are you saying? It's okay if your side says things that aren't true and you can regulate in a way that's not based on fact or reality, but based on a result that you want to take place, and that's fine. So we don't have freedom of speech.
No, of course not.
Then you're talking nonsense. This is talking crazy talk. Maybe she believed it was real back then. Maybe she believed it was real. Who knows? Maybe she believed it was important that the But if you got a hold of the Twitter files and you see what Michael Schellenberger and Matt Taibbi and all those people that went through that stuff with a fine-tooth comb, the stuff that they found out should make you realize, like, no, you can't have the government tell you what you can and can't say. They don't always tell the truth. They're often influenced. Sometimes you have rogue actors. You probably have one or two people that's responsible for making the call to Facebook or to Twitter. So it's on them. Mm-hmm. It's on these people with whatever influence that they have and whatever people are talking to them behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. We can't have that, kids. It's bad for everybody.
Yeah, and just the idea that there's certain information that's misinformation is just the government sanctioned information. And
no, but they can't even let you debate it. They want you to stop it. As soon as they want you to stop it, the only solution to bad information is good information.
Yeah, of course.
That's how it's supposed to be. If they want to stop you from saying something, and then it turns out that what you were saying was true, no one should trust them ever again. There should be some sort of a comeuppance, and there's no comeuppance. There's no discussion of it. It's never talked about. It's just plowed on through, and we move on to the next thing with no acknowledgement at all. That you guys fucking bullshitted us and lied to us for years.
For years.
And now you want to control social media to stop lies.
And the lab leak theory is one that really, I mean, people's careers were destroyed over being like, maybe this virus came from this lab full of viruses where it was found right outside of. And they were like, you fucking crazy ass. You should, but it was only because certain information was seen as acceptable and sanctioned, and certain information was seen as not.
Well, it's way creepier than that. It
of
was
course,
a vested
actually
interest.
suppressing it.
Yeah,
no, I get it.
There's a business behind it, and they use their money and their influence and their control of the media to you. You got bullshitted. You got bullshitted by business, and business. They got together with media, and they all had a plan. What are you playing, Jamie? What are you watching over there? More bullshit. It's just there's so much bullshit, but also less bullshit if you think about overall, because there's way more truth now, right? Like, you get way more independent journalism than we've ever had access to in the history of the human race. And you get so much of it. So you get all this media propaganda and mainstream bullshit But on top of that, you get a lot of Jimmy Dores. You get a lot of independent people that are telling the truth. You get the Glenn Greenwalds. You get the Matt Taibbis.
Yeah.
You get all these people that are just telling you, Michael Schellenbergers, telling Barry Weiss, telling you what the is actually going on and not attached to some large corporation.
Yeah, but it's also saying the government is the only one that's allowed to be wrong.
Right.
Because if what they say is misinformation turns out to be true, as was so many things, that's okay.
Right, but it's not just wrong. You were lying.
Of course. Like Fauci being like, we made up 6 feet. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't really know. It's just actively lying. Yes, absolutely.
There's a difference between being wrong about something and just lying and then getting truth removed. You know, and shaming doctors from Stanford and Harvard and making them out to be kooks. Some of the people that were the top of their field.
Yeah.
And they had dissenting opinions because they're experts.
Yeah.
And they're watching this bullshit go down by bureaucrats. And they're like, you motherfucker.
And people
Like,
saying,
what are
like,
you doing?
just stay home. That drove me nuts. I feel like, how can you say that when you're still at work? When you're still at work, right? I mean, I was lucky to still have my job.
Yeah.
And people had to shut down. Even New York's not the same anymore as it used to be because a lot of these businesses closed down forever.
Like I said, they're talking about censorship. Can't not talk about Kamala Harris, Biden administration when it comes to censorship. You know, for a man who actually doesn't know where he is, he's very keen on censoring people. You know what I mean? For a man who can't remember the words that are coming out of his mouth as he's saying them, it's odd that he wants to censor people, you know? I find that very, very interesting. Kamala, I understand, you know? She's I don't want to use swear words. I don't want to use any swear words. She's not that bright, so I get it. You know, you're like, I want people to forget the things I've said. So I understand on her side. But Biden? You think Biden would be cool? He'd be like, what's the big deal? Let's just let everybody say whatever they have to say. Say whatever they have to say. Mr. Biden, can I ask you another question? Who are you? Where am I? What is this place? Why is there a black lady here? Shouldn't she be in some side of the kitchen? Oh, man. I was going to show this at the end, buddy. I know it's off topic, but this is the happiest picture. You've never seen this man happier. I can't wait till he's completely senile. I can't wait till he doesn't know where he is, what year it is. I can't wait. It's going to be the best thing ever. I don't say that from a place of malice. I say that from a place of just, he's going to be the best politician at that time. Probably going to be best friends with Trump. I can't wait till he forgets that he ran against Trump. And he's just like, I like this guy. Well, what's the problem with this guy? Come over here. What's your name? Donald? Donald, you got a good handshake. Normal size hands? This guy's great. I can't wait. It's going to happen soon enough. Here's Kamala Harris. This is one of the clips that resurfaced where people thought she was talking about shutting down X. But what she's talking about is just as bad.
He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation. And that has to stop.
It's weird that Jamie was trying to bail her out. He's like, I think this quote, I think she was talking about. It's like, bro, you can hear what she's talking about. It doesn't matter what year it is. It doesn't matter if she's talking about Elon or Trump. It's very clear what she's saying at the end of the day. And it's weird because at the end of the day, the rule was, the Twitter files showed us, the rule was, listen to whatever we tell you. Mark Zuckerberg exposed the same thing. The rule was, we come to you with a list of accounts and you censor those accounts. That's what you do. Or otherwise, we take away your immunity. And that's what's going to happen to Elon Musk. She might not shut down X, but she might take away the immunity that they have. Now, right now, they have a certain amount of immunity. So they're not responsible for what people say on their platforms. But when the Biden-Harris administration comes to you guys, puts pressure on you guys, as Zuckerberg said they do, then you feel like you have to because that immunity gets threatened. They haven't done that to Elon Musk, but if she gets in office, if she becomes president, she might just take the opportunity to do that. I don't know. But listen to this. This is Colion Noir hearing exactly what Joe was hearing Another clip about her talking about censorship.
Y'all think this is okay?
We will double the Civil Rights Division and direct law enforcement to counter this extremism. We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable as a community.
Like, I can't be the only one who thinks this is not okay. Like, it's the First Amendment. And no politician, I don't care who you're voting for, whether it's Kamala, Trump, or that one weird guy who was blabbling about on stage. We don't even know where he is now. We don't even know if he's still the president. I don't care who you support. But no one should be okay with a politician saying they're going to restrict your First Amendment right on social media platforms. I don't give a about mouth-breathing racists spewing hateful bullshit online. It's the First Amendment. And for the people who are like, oh, no, it's a private platform and your First Amendment doesn't account. Shut the up. Yes, it does. Because this is a government telling a private company to censor people's First Amendment right on their platform. That is the same thing.
You know, it actually is the same thing. I don't know. A lot of people don't seem to know that. I've heard that argument so many times that people are just like, you know, it's a public, you know, they don't have to abide by the First Amendment. They can just expel people, deplatform. They can do whatever they want. But when the government actually asks the company, which has been going on, to censor XYZ accounts, that actually does go against the First Amendment. They're actually not allowed to do that. They can't have a third party violate your First Amendment rights. So just so you know. But, you know, other than that, I mean, Kamala Harris, she's just brat. You know, it's just brat as she's talking about misinformation. If you're gonna profit off of hate, if you're gonna profit from hate, says the lady that's helping divide the country right now and becoming a multimillionaire. Oh, I already know she's gonna leave office just worth $50 million for no reason whatsoever, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, I'm going to go on to the next clip, but I will say this about what Joe Rogan said really quick. He said there's no comeuppance. You know, it's funny that Trump actually wants there to be accountability for the people who have been doing this stuff, which is why he said what he said about Mark Zuckerberg. If you notice, Trump is like, I'm going to go after, he mentioned Mark Zuckerberg. He's talking about people who are in government. Those people have to be held accountable. He's talking about all those people. And then when you listen to Kamala Harris, she's just talking about us. It's like, what's going on here? Trump's like, you know, these people in government, they're sick people. They got to be handled. You know, you got to keep them accountable. And Kamala Harris is like, you all have to be held accountable. It's like, hey, Indian lady, hey, what are you doing? What are you talking about? I call her Indian lady because a black lady would be cool. Okay? Let's be real about it, guys. A black lady would let it slide. You know what I mean? She wouldn't want to see any of us get arrested. She'd be like, all right, what y'all do? Y'all profit from, hey, how much? You made that much? Give me a little. All right. No, it's cool. I see you. That's what a real black person would do, okay? This Indian lady. Anyway, next clip.
All of these social media companies and these online platforms, which are so powerful in their ability to impact perception about an issue and to influence behaviors. Let's be clear about that. There have to be standards, and he and his account should be taken down. We saw in El Paso that shooter in his manifesto was informed by how Donald Trump uses that platform. And this is a matter of corporate responsibility. Twitter should be held accountable and shut down that site. It is a matter of safety and corporate accountability.
Thank you. Senator Warren, you can respond.
So, look, I don't just want to push Donald Trump off Twitter. I want to push him out of the White House. That's our job.
Join me in saying that his Twitter account should be shut down.
Let's figure out why it is that
he has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. the same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation, and that has to stop.
Donald Trump has 65 million followers on Twitter, and we have to take seriously the weaponization of this platform by the president and the need, therefore, of a private corporation to be held accountable to say he has abused the terms, and it could result literally in a threat to safety of human beings who are participating with the process of justice.
There is not a part of you civically, constitutionally, that is concerned about the precedent of a private company taking the platform away from the President of the United States or some other elected official?
Free speech does not condone or protect threats to the safety of other human beings. And so that is what we are talking about. Like, let's be really clear about what we're talking about.
I think we need...
I love that. He's like, there's no part of you that kind of knows what the Constitution is. I mean, I'm part of CNN, but I have to bring it up. You don't actually know about the first part. There's a top part there. None of you. She's like, I'm communist. Did no one tell him I'm communist? She's like, oh, he is threatening people's. No, he's not. Trump? When has Trump ever threatened somebody's life? You know what I mean? I mean, there's been times where he looked at somebody and said, hey, is that treason that person just did? You know what treason calls for. That he said stuff like that before, but he wasn't, you know what I mean? That's a little different. You know, that's not really a call for violence. That's more asking, did someone actually commit a crime to this extent? You know? Here's Tim Walz. Tim Walz, Tampon Tim, as he's affectionately called. There are many young kids throughout Minnesota that actually love Tim Walz because they get to have tampons and they get to fill them with water, I would think, and whip them at each other. Because if I was a kid and I went into my washroom and I found that machine, I would do just that. And I would fill it with red liquid and I'd throw it at my friend and we'd all laugh because we all know what we're thinking. That's just, you know, I'm sure some of my friends would use them as straws. So I'm sure he's contributed to Minnesota culture quite a bit.
Need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
So neither of them know about the Constitution. That's amazing. That's why Kamala chose him. She called up people and she said, do you know what the First Amendment is? Each person said yes. And then Tim was like, I don't actually, I don't know. What do you mean? What's the first part? What's the Constitution? What do you mean? What is that? She was like, Tim, I would like for you to be my vice president. He was like, oh, okay, all right, no problem. Who is this? Who am I talking to right now? Oh, they're the worst. They're the worst ticket ever. It's incredible. Anyways, let's get into this. I got like 3 more here.
I guess the question about you I know you wrote to Twitter and the CEO, Jack Dorsey, and asked him to take away the president's Twitter handle, his account. How is that not a violation of free speech? I mean, the president has the same rights that you have, that I have, and how would that not just be a slippery slope where they have to ban, you know, half of the people on Twitter?
I've heard that argument, but here's the thing, Jake. First of all, a corporation, which is what Twitter is, it does not have it has obligations, and in this case, Twitter has terms of use policy. And their terms of use dictate who receives the privilege of speaking on that platform and who does not. And Donald Trump has clearly violated the terms of use, and there should be a consequence for that. Not to mention the fact that he has used his platform, being the President of the United States, in a way that has been about inciting fear and potentially inciting harm against a witness to what might be a crime against our country and our democracy. And for that reason, I do believe that that it's clear that he has violated the terms of use, and I'm asking that Twitter does what it has done in previous occasions, which is to revoke someone's privilege because they've not lived up to the advantages of the privilege.
I guess
she doesn't even know what the terms of use are. She's assuming. She doesn't even actually know if he violated them. She's just like, I don't know. He said things I don't like. He must have violated it, you know? And if you notice, he's talking about freedom of speech, which is pretty radical for someone who works at CNN. You know, kudos to you. I'm sure you took a lashing for that type of nonsense. They don't put up with that type of thing at CNN. And then she brings up terms of use. So she's talking about getting around it. She doesn't even address the whole freedom of speech thing. She's like, oh, well, you know, they have this terms of use. They're a private corporation. She's trying to, in the lightest way, well, pretty heavy actually, trying to go around it. She's saying, let's just go around that whole thing and let's not focus on that. Anyways, guys, how much more do you really need to hear? Okay? A vote for Kamala. And you know what else? Honestly, I gotta say, who are these black women who are hearing this lady talk like this? And they're like, yeah. Are you crazy? What? You grew up around felons. Hey, I'm black. I can say it. Let's be honest. You grew up around felons. And you're hearing this lady talk like this, and she's a prosecutor, and she locks people up for weed? What are we doing here? What's going on with black people? Why are they so easily tricked? Do I sound like a racist white guy? I'm sorry. You know, I'm part of the anti-woke social club. I'm sorry. I don't know. Because this sounds ridiculous. You hear this lady talking like this and you're like, yeah, strong, independent sister. She understands our struggle. Yeah, she does. She understands every parameter of your struggle and knows how to keep you inside. It's her job. It's been her job forever. She goes, here's the struggle. How do I keep black people inside of this struggle here? I'll put one in jail. I'll put a few in jail. I'll put 100 in jail. I'll put 1,000 in jail. And black people are like, I like this lady. It's like, and then Trump's like, I want you to get out of jail. The First Step Act, I made that. And I just want to see you guys get jobs. And I don't like illegal immigrants taking your jobs. Black people are like, oh, this guy's racist. He sounds racist to me. What's a black job? What's a black job? It's absolutely ridiculous. For some people who think I talk too much, I'm working on my stand-up. Okay? All right? Pretty soon I'm going to be live streaming. It's going to be like an hour of stand-up in video form like this. So I got to talk a lot, okay? Suck it up. Always, you can go to my X. I repost every single clip that I post on the show. So just go and hit that up if you actually don't want to hear me talk. But other than that, guys, that's all I got for you today. Kamala Harris, the censorship queen. The censorship queen of India, come to America to spread communism like curry powder everywhere. Anyway, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Other than that, I'm out.